Let's solve for x. So what I need to do is, since we're going to use the method I'm going to use is I'm going to use the square root principle, because I only have one x with the square in it here. There isn't an x here, there isn't an x here. So just using the square root principle is going to make this quite a bit quicker than, say, using the quadratic formula or even factoring. Okay, so I'm going to isolate the variable. I'm going to add 6 to both sides. So now we've got 7x equals 8. Okay, divide by 7. So we've got x squared equals 8 over 7. Now we take the square root of both sides. Okay, and we're going to remember the rule that if I'm taking the square root of a fraction, both the numerator and denominator get that square root. So this would be the square root of 8 over square root of 7. So square root of 7 down here in the denominator. We don't like square roots in the denominator, but I'm not going to even deal with that yet. I'm going to deal with the square root 8 right now. Are there any perfect squares that fit in 8? Because 8 is not a perfect square. And the answer is yes, 4, right? 2 times 4 is 8. So we go, okay, well, this is the square root of 4 times 2, square root 7, right? Because 4 times 2 is 8. So here's another way of writing 8. So we remember the properties of square roots. That's the same thing as square root of 4, square root 2, over square root 7. Okay, so what is the square root of 4? It is plus or minus 2. Got square root 2 over square root 7. Okay, now we're going to rationalize the denominator. We don't like that square root in the bottom. So I'm going to multiply this thing by 1 in the form of root 7 over root 7. So this here is going to be plus or minus 2. Okay, and since we have a square root times a square root, we can just multiply them together. Remember that we've got the square root of a times the square root of b. That's the same thing as the square root of a times b. Okay, so here we're just going to take 2 times 7. So we've got square root of 14 over square root of 7 times square root of 7. Well, anytime we have square root being multiplied by itself like that, is simply its value, right? Because we multiply the inside. That would be 7 times 7, which is 49. What's the square root of 49? 7. Okay, so this is our answer. But here's how we're going to write the answer, right? Because it asks you to give it as 2 possibilities. So the first is positive. When you have a positive, you don't have to write the plus. You just go 2 square root 14. Make sure that that's over 7. And your second answer is going to be negative 2 square root 14 over 7. Now, what I see people do sometimes, and it's a big no-no, because this 2 is being multiplied by the 14 here, and this negative 2 is being multiplied by that square root 14 there. Okay, so I see them do this. They go 2 plus square root 14 over 7, or 2 minus square root 14 over 7. Right? They do something like that. This is a no-no. Do not do that. This is the answer you're looking for.